Let's get it. What's up, you cool cats and kittens? Y'all know that Carol Baskins has a VR game? I haven't tried it yet. Apparently she does. Let me get set up here. What's 9 plus 10? 29. Ah. No, I ate Callie, yeah. It said I used to not be quitting, but then Ben convinced me that I need to quit because if you do VR, you need to quit. Hold on, we need some music. Let me know if this is too loud, guys. I'm feeling some jazz maybe today. It's pretty quiet. I don't think that's gonna be too loud, but let me know. Oh man, what's up, everybody? How does everyone like the background? If it gets to the point where it's a little too old because VR is dead, that's the background. VR is dead. Then we can go to a little bit different. We could go something, a little more daddish. If I need to speak to you in a stern voice, we're going to the fireplace. But other than that, VR is dead, and we just stick with this. So, guys. What's up? I'm gonna see who's in the chat. We're gonna take this slow. Mateo, VR is lame. Mateo, what are you doing? You better get up here on stream with me soon. I need to talk some shit with you. Shidpool. What's up, buddy? Brand VR, it's good to see you. Yes, I am quitting. Phoenix. What's up, buddy? Magma. It's good to see you. For British eyes only. You know what I'm talking about. Guys, so we're gonna do what we did last time because it worked out pretty well. It was a lot of fun. If you'd like to be part of this stream, hear me out. This is the directions. It's pretty simple. It's right there. Right there. It can't be any more obvious. All you gotta do is shoot me a DM or a message or a friend request. Something, so I get a notification. To the jazz. To the jazz. And if you send me something there, I'll just be going first come, first serve. Last time we almost got through everybody, and I'll bring you on stream. And the theme of today, instead of talking about ads, this is gonna be for fun, man. This is the good feel. The good feel stream. I want you to come on, and you can talk about anything you want. It could be deep, it could be dumb, it could be nothing. And we'll just, we'll chat for a little bit. But if you could bring anything, if you have nothing to talk about, here's what I advise you to bring up. What's making you not quit VR right now, right? What's making you happy? What are you doing? Share it with the group. If you are a developer, share your game. If you have a YouTube channel, I don't care. Plug yourself. If you want to use the platform to plug yourself. Let's have some good feels, right? This is the feel-good stream, not the VR is dead stream, because Ben told us to quit. But Ben did tell us to quit, so if you want to quit, then go ahead and quit. I don't care. But for context, before I start bringing people up, Matt, you'll be first. So if you're in the chat, Matt, you know you're coming up. That little tweet thing I woke up to, where Ben just basically destroyed everyone and made them paranoid and quit VR. Look, Ben's been doing VR for like a long time. If you don't follow him, like you wouldn't know because his profile doesn't exactly show that he's a huge VR person, but he is. And he's obviously having a little mental crisis on Facebook and their stance. At first, I was kind of taking him seriously and being like, it's kind of legit in a sense that someone who's dedicated quite a bit of time to their life to VR to post that's kind of a big deal. But then when you start bringing in Trump politics and VR altogether, Facebook, the devil worship, you're having a bad day, and I get it. Twitter character limits, they're not great for your mental capacity. Twitter's not great if you end up taking it personally, and he took the state of VR pretty personally there. That's what that's about. But I'm not quitting VR. I think it's the next big computing platform. I know many of you in here think the same, so get the fuck in the chat. Let's talk about why you love VR. Please send me those Discord notifications so I can get you in here, but let's go right into it. Let's see if this works. Last time it worked. Matt, I'm giving you a call, my man. To the smooth voice of jazz. What's up, Matt?
What is that?
Chat, let me know if you can hear Matt. Matt, say hello to everyone so we can just gauge whether the audio is good or not.
Hello.
Boom, we'll wait for chat to get caught up. But hey, you got a game on the Oculus Quest, right?
Yeah, I have one game up on SideQuest, which is kind of morphing into a new project, which I'm going to be bringing to App Lab, hopefully by the end of the year.
Do you have you got a link or anything? Shoot me the link in Discord, and I can blast it out in the chat. That way, if anyone's interested in Matt's experience on SideQuest, and his future explorations on App Lab, which is awesome. Congratulations, by the way. I'd be very interested in what you can share on the App Lab application process, because I've made a tweet the other day that apparently pissed a few people off about App Lab. But I'm going to be posting Matt's game in the chat, so if anyone wants to check it out, it's on SideQuest right now, free to play. Give it a look. But Matt, welcome to the chat.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. What's making you happy in VR right now? What you want to talk about? Because I know you didn't have a specific point, but I'm just happy to have someone over here who's a developer. That's pretty awesome. Congrats on the success.
Thanks. Well, the reason I like VR, I'd say, is just like building different like imaginative worlds or like dream worlds, and that's always something I've been like really inspired by. I've never really considered myself like a gamer, really, but I've always loved the idea of immersive worlds or like imaginative places. So, like some of the games I'm like really into, like they're really the only games I really have enjoyed playing are like Myst games or like LSD Dream Emulator and stuff like that. So, the games that I make have been kind of going towards like a middle between like Myst and LSD Dream Emulator. So just kind of like more of like an artistic game where you don't really see a lot of like artsy games. Like pretty much everything that I see on like VR and Oculus Quest is like action games or sports games or shooting games. So
don't forget Zombie. Don't leave them out.
Yeah, and Zombie. So I mean, that's what I've just been like pursuing my kind of passion of like exploration and just kind of more abstract artsy stuff. So
I'm looking at it right now. Here, let me give the chat a fireside reading. Let's do this. Boom. A fireside reading of your game's description. Welcome to Other Falls. Other Falls is a surreal adventure that merges exploration, flying, and environmental storytelling. Players will be swept away into the world of dreams where anything is possible. Activate ancient portals, reawaken the spirits of the dreamscape, and make your way through a relaxing and immersive journey. Built from the ground up, looks like Quest 1 and 2. Solid 72 frames on the Quest 1, 90 on Quest 2. Seated or standing, I think that's important, by the way. I really actually do think that's important. Too many games neglect seated. The alpha demo is approximately 25 minutes in duration, and development's ongoing. So he's got a Patreon, guys. If you click that link in the video description, if you like what you see, I bitch about it all the time on Twitter, that it's hard for indie devs out there. So give him some love, check out the game, give feedback. I'm sure Matt would be open to all feedback on that, but I won't speak for him too much. Let me go back to the old screen. So go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was just going to say, this project is like morphing to a new project, which I'm calling Island Universe. So right now I kind of froze my Patreon just because I'm like readapting the levels and I'm making it less of a story game and just more of like exploration. So I've kind of been like lacking my Patreon stuff right now, but I just announced, like dropped a little teaser for my new game on my Twitter, which I'll give you that link to.
Yeah, I'll shoot that out. Shoot any link you want. That's what the whole point of the stream is, guys. Anyone who joined and missed my 30-second explanation of what the stream is, which I'll have to repeat a billion times, it's literally it's just the chat, guys. If this was Twitch, it'd be under the just chatting headline. There's too many, and I'm part of the problem sometimes. I can be honest. Sometimes I can be a little too negative about VR, but through all that negativity, there's a lot of good stuff happening. So let's just talk about the good stuff, especially if you have something to plug, if you're building something in VR, if you experience something that's pretty cool that no one else really talks about. There's some people in the chat who might want that info, so that's the whole point of this. Matt, while I got you on the call here, man, what can you share about the App Lab process? How it is. I know you're under contract to not talk about a lot of it, but what can you share on someone else who might be wanting to go down that route? Is there anything you can share about that?
Well, I haven't submitted yet, but I've gotten pretty familiar with the whole ecosystem for it. And, basically anyone can submit anything, but you have to there's a whole Oculus checklist called the VRCs that you have to basically meet all this criteria to get your game in. So some of it is like for accessibility reasons, or like, and then there's also like strict technical requirements. Like you have to, they won't accept anything that runs under 60 FPS on Quest 1.
That makes sense.
And there have to be like other things like that when you press the Oculus home button, that like your game pauses or stuff like that. And then there's also some more like technical things with like signing your app, which is like they call it like Android signing, so that like it validates that like, oh, this is your app associated to like this package name and all that. So, but beyond meeting all those technical requirements, it seems like they accept pretty much anything content wise that's not like, as long as it's not like, I don't know, sexual content.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. But, I mean, we had that fireside chat one time about adult content, and that SideQuest used to have it on there, and now they took it off. So it makes sense that everyone's going away from that. It doesn't exactly make you marketable, but I'm glad to hear. So before I bring someone else on, because I got a lot of DMs, I guess my overall thing that I'd like you to express to any developers in here, a lot of like, I shit on AppLab on Twitter a little bit. Other people do, but it sounds like maybe the barriers to it aren't as crazy as the horror stories show. It sounds like if you're an aspiring developer, go that route, like give it a shot, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, definitely. I think the SideQuest developer Discord, they have a really good thread on AppLab too, and everyone's willing to help. And just as like maybe a closing thing, and like tying this into like Ben's tweet about like quitting or giving up, I think everyone should just remember that like we say we're working in VR, but for a lot of us, this is just a hobby thing outside of our day job. So really just, if you want, this is something you want to go for, I say just go for it and like make what you want to make, and you'll find the right audience for it. Hopefully, my game it's not even really a game, but it's gotten some good reviews and starting to get, some good traction out there. So just keep doing what you got to do.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you coming by, Matt.
Sweet. Thank you, Eric.
Take it easy, man. But yeah, for what he said, guys, like, this is obviously a little bit like, it's fluff. I get it. But, like, for real, I've said it in a couple streams and, like, in my fireside chats. Like, you're buying into penny stocks now if you're in VR. Like, you're buying into when it's not exactly worth a lot. The chance of making a crap load of money is not high. But, well, what is it, HODL? Like, hold on it, and it's going to be a lot later. Bran, I'm going to bring you up next, then Mateo, then Liariel, and then Squid will have you up. But Bran, I'm going to shoot you a phone call real quick. Dig of this music. Real quick too, Bran, before we talk, I'm just going to check the chat real quick. The Cube series, Wormsworth. Yeah, the Cube series made me I question that. I know Tony over at Scared Ghost, and I know he got that on there like immediately. I have a feeling it might be similar to Blair, Anti-Cleric on Twitter, Lo-Fi and Agency. If you know somebody, you tend to be able to push things further. I know for a fact that they know some people. So that could have a big factor into it. But, I hear a lot of horror stories with AppLab, but that's all like secondhand. But then I hear people like Matt saying it's not as bad. Yeah, Wormsworth, the AppLab comment might have been a little heated or targeted, but I'm not a fan of having AppLab take 30% from a developer, not giving them any visibility. I think that is robbery. I used the word extortion. Some people took that a little too harsh. Fair. Extortion's a pretty heated word. But go ahead right now, if you have your phone up and you have the Oculus Quest app, Puzzling Places. It's an amazing game. It is coming to the store. They did get accepted. But go find it on AppLab. You need to type in, I typed in Puzzling Places, nothing comes up. Then it says suggestions. It's Puzzling Places space beta. If you do not put it in exactly like that, the wrong space, the wrong dash, anything, it will not come up. And even if you put Puzzling Spaces correctly, type it all incorrectly, there are, and quote me on this, anyone in the chat, please do this, there are 6 to 7 games that are not AppLab, not anything remotely related to Puzzling Places, that come up first. So you need to see all those, then scroll to see the AppLab section. That's too many steps for me to have to type in puzzling places, dash beta dash with a space in between the scroll at the bottom. That's not worth 30%. To me, they need to do better. That's where I got heated. I don't think I'm that unreasonable there.
Absolutely not.
That's too much. But Brand, I got you here, man. I know you were a little...
Hey.
I appreciate your honesty. You were a little bummed about the state of VR right now.
Yeah, so like I've been in VR since 2018, around like June or July. And it was it was right before May, because it was Beat Saber that sold it to me when I saw all the advertisements on Facebook. But recently VR, like I don't spend too much time in it other than Beat Saber. Like all the games coming out, it's more rhythm games, it's more wave-based shooters, it's more clones of VR Chat or Neos VR. It's all Horizons. It's all the same. Everything's the same. Like it's all like new streaming apps, new ways to consume TV and movies. Like it's just all the same stuff. And like what I want to see is just move the VR in a direction of like, you know, and I hate the Ready Player One analogy, but it's super relevant, where it's just a one confined space where everything ties together. I'm sick of having a different control screen in Half-Life Alyx, and then go to VR Chat, it's different there, and then go into Rec Room, it's different there. And like, yeah, you learn it over time, but it's not a concise experience. And from 2016 to 2021, we've made no steps really in that movement.
So one thing, sorry, let me chime in real quick on one thing. So I hear you, and I get it. One thing that I actually didn't understand, because I don't play a lot of console games anymore, because I don't own a PlayStation or Xbox, so I play mostly PC games.
Like PC games are pretty much dead to me.
So it's like, and I still play a lot of PC games, guys. Like I'm addicted to Dead Cells right now. I'm stuck on 4 BC right now. If you play Dead Cells, you'll know what that means. I can't beat that damn giant, so I'm working on that. But like I haven't played console in a long time. And then I saw a statistic from, I think I was speaking with Blair over at Lo-Fi VR. Great game, check it out. And I didn't realize that like the average console player, I think it was something like buys 3 to 4 games a year, right? That's all.
Yeah.
They'll play the same game 3 to 4 a year. And I'm kind of like similar to that. Like, yeah, I buy more VR games because they're cheaper and they don't last as long right now. But generally speaking, like I'm not buying that many games a year. So some people say they only play like 2 or 3 games. That kind of makes sense in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean?
I guess so. I saw your tweet about that a couple days ago, and I was just too caught up at work to reply. But I think like the answer to that is somewhere for VR users, somewhere around like 10 to 15 games a year, because all the games are so much cheaper. Yeah, but also think about this: how many of those games are more than likely being returned?
I don't know, man. I
do a lot of returns on really bad VR games.
Yeah, I will back you up that one day I did buy 3 games. I played Battle Sisters, and on the Quest it wasn't for me, so that was returned. And then there was another one I tried right after that I just didn't like either. But I mean, at the same time, it's nice that we have that option. That's what it's for. I can't knock it for doing it.
No, because you're right. Because like console games and regular games, it is essentially rinse and repeat the same thing. Regular shooter, new hero shooter every year. I don't know, but I just feel like there's a lot of space for VR to grow into that. I don't know the word for it. Intertwined system.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think it's just, I've said it before, I think VR kind of restarted when the Quest came, especially the Quest 2.
True.
So does it suck for someone like you who's been here for a long time, like others who DK1, DK2, maybe Google Cardboard and Samsung Gear? It sucks.
Enthusiast VR is getting pushed to the side, like for I'm gonna call it normie VR.
It's like that though in like it's always like that. The early adopters usually will get pushed out eventually.
Yeah, but if I like talking about it like this. I just talked about this the other day with someone. Is that you have console and PC, and console and PC has always existed, and PC players have always been considered the enthusiasts, the elitist, and the console players are considered normies. But PCs never stopped getting support. It's never been hindered. Its technology and its games have never been held back. And that's what's happening. Normie VR is taking over, and enthusiast VR is getting pushed away for all the inside-out tracking systems, the lower graphics for the XR2. I don't know. As an enthusiast, as someone who's been here for a while, I feel like I'm not being listened to anymore.
So I can't, obviously, Brand, I can't solve that issue, which I know you're not asking me to either, by the way. But
No.
I appreciate you. Like, it's a point that if you say that, you're gonna get shit on. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's people in the chat who are just like,
I have a lot of
F that.
unpopular opinions.
but that's fine. Like, we need those. I think it was Joshua Corvinus in one of the fireside chats I had with him who said it. I think he's in your mindset, not in the sense of maybe what his stance is on VR, but that he made the great point that the people who are using VR right now, who are the loudest, who are making comments, it's not about what we have right now, it's about where we want it to go. And at least the people who are vocal are attempting to guide in a direction that's favorable for all. So, like, I
Like
can't.
the whole ad situation, like if it wasn't for everyone speaking up about that, who knows what would have happened to Blast On? It would have been filled with ads.
Yeah, but that was always something that
I know
people
it was
don't know.
planned from the
That was
start.
their plan, like literally from the start. Now they did a terrible job guiding people to that direction. So that's on them. But I hear you. I'm with you. But I would just say, because I gotta go, there's other people I do want to get to. Brain,
Yeah, for sure.
voice it up. Don't hide behind unpopular opinions. Voice it up because, like Victoria said, and Victoria, I'll get you in here eventually. It is the future that we're molding. So your unpopular opinions, if it hits the right ear and has any impact, it's worth it. And that's why I appreciate what you're doing, Bran.
Do you mind if I drop a link for people who like unpopular opinions for my Twitch stream?
Yes, more than happy to put that in.
Cool. I'll drop in the DM, but I'll let you get out of here.
Man. I'll take it easy, Bran. I'm going to bring
I
someone
really
else with
thank
a lot of unpopular opinions up next.
All right, man. Look
Take
forward
it
to
easy,
listening. All right, bye-bye.
Mateo. I'm going to take a look at the chat, but we'll get you up here. Mateo, then Liariel, and Victoria. I'm getting you up here. Take it easy 1 second, Mateo, before you start yelling at me.
Not gonna yell.
Or whatever you say. Let's see what's going on with the chat. Oh, wait, hold on, Bran. You send me that link? Whenever I get it, Bran, I'll pull you up here. Liariel, yep, you're up next. John Wester, I've seen you around, man. John Wester, excuse me. Last time I saw you in here, you were posting like giant comments that were really topical to our discussion, so thank you for that last time. I don't remember what they were, I'm gonna be honest with you. But I just remember every time I read one of your things, I really appreciated those. With Michael, I can't pronounce your last name, man. Are you one of the devs behind VR Workout? We have a pretty easy name to search for, but it's pretty unsearchable. Yeah, that's what happens. If you don't search it on Oculus exactly right, it just doesn't come up, which is a little bit of a crapshoot. Cole Slab, I noticed I gravitate towards early access VR games because they have a lot of potential to improve. Yeah, it's too bad Oculus doesn't let that happen anymore, right? All right, Mateo, get it over with. What do you want to yell at me about?
What's going on? I got nothing to yell at.
Fuck yeah.
Yell at you about. No. We're good. We're good, man. We're good. I mean, you suck sometimes, but we're good.
No,
I'm
what do you
sorry
got?
if I came on with feedback there, because Discord's a jerk. I had it set through my headphones on purpose, but it still went through my speakers.
Everyone in the chat here, hold on. I'll do it for you, Mateo. Mateo is someone I've been speaking with for a very long time, ever since I started YouTube. If I'm having a problem where I'm mentally getting destroyed by the algorithm, he's my go-to guy to talk with, just because we bounce a lot of ideas.
Terrible choice. Terrible choice.
This is his link in the chat, guys. But no,
I thought you were gonna say I was your tech support, because I am the YouTube tech support these
he
days.
is my tech support too. I'm an idiot with tech, guys. But no, Mateo's a great guy. He's gonna be one who's gonna tell it to you straight. He will not fluff it up. I fully believe in what he says and what he's doing. But what's going on with you, man? What's making you happy right now in VR?
I mean, listen, VR still makes me really happy. I was joking early on in your stream, VR is lame now. It kind of feels that way. I mean, we are in that lull. Want to, digress for 2 seconds and say your previous caller, kindred spirits with that guy. So awesome caller. I feel, I have some of the same opinions. But yeah, we're in this lull in VR right now. I mean, a lot of the whole gaming industry is kind of in that same lull. PlayStation 5 has like no games out. Xbox has no games out. You can barely get those consoles. COVID screwed everything up. So we're in a lull across the board. But if you're just getting into VR, I mean, with a little bit of research, you can catch up on like 5 years of awesomeness, which is what I try to do. Like I try to show people like because there's tons of games that I've never even heard of, and I like my list of VR games on Steam is like 150 titles, and that's not including Quest. So I mean, VR is definitely in this lull, and I think yes, we're moving towards mainstream normie VR.
Meat space.
It is definitely a move against, I think, what made VR so impressive in the beginning. That high immersion, you feel physically transported. That's kind of not like what VR is right now. But Facebook, the other side of the coin, is making all the right moves to grow it. So, if you get VR mainstream, then you could have those group of people who are looking for deep immersion. You could have those group of people who are, I want the Fortnite of VR and, the Overwatch of VR and stuff like that. So it's growing, it's going. Yes, we're in a lull right now. 2021 has been like very meh for VR.
I wish I could find him, my man. I wish I could find him. I'm going through Twitter right now, but someone tweeted at me the other day. But I know what his Twitter name is in my head, but it's like unspellable. And he put an article that apparently Facebook might be losing 6 to 7 billion on VR development right now a year. If that's true, there's no competition. Uncompetitable? I don't think that's a word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Unsustainable.
Unsustainable. Thank you.
But I mean, honestly, they're a $1 trillion company now. They just, hit that $1 trillion mark recently. They're a $1 trillion company. When you start talking billions, trillions, billions, okay, kind of close. But, they have very small people like running the numbers. And they're most likely gonna win in the end. I mean, there comes to a point where someone might say, listen, we've spent $100 billion. We're not getting money back. Let's bail. I don't think they'll get there. I think they've made enough correct moves. I think they got enough stuff on board. But they're definitely hemorrhaging money, but it's an investment for them.
What's your thought on this? Matt, who just had in the chat, the first one, he made an interesting point as a developer. And by the way, Wormsworth, thank you for the donation. Thank you very much, man. Matt made the point that the problem is that games take so long to make. And that's an interesting comment because, you hear it being a content creator on how many headsets like constantly come out. So if you're a developer and it takes you a long time to make the game, by the time you make it, what you made it for might be obsolete. And that's an interesting conundrum. I'm wondering if that's slowing development right now as they're watching and waiting for maybe the Quest Pro or Quest 3 to possibly be announced. A lot of people, including myself, are saying September. Not sure.
I mean, I think there's a couple factors at play here for sure. We talked about how the Quest 2 is the most popular headset right now. You can't argue that. And for many reasons why. It makes complete sense. So obviously developers want to shift to the Quest 2. But there's a couple limitations right now. Because, in 2000, or it was like the very end of 2019, we had Boneworks. Then you go into 2000 and we get Half-Life Alyx. And we get these blockbuster style, titles.
Yep.
And it's like, yes, VR is here, man. And then the shift is to the Quest. And there's two factors. Exactly what you said. It takes a long time to develop a good game. You're looking at like a 2-3 year development schedule. If not more. And you're also very limited on the Quest 2. And people say, oh, no, it's great technology. Listen, it's still a freaking cell phone. I don't there's a reason why your RTX 3080 is a couple $100 and it weighs like 5 pounds.
Stop flexing on people that you got one, my man. Although Mateo has a 3090 and he's gonna flex on all y'all.
You said it, not me. This is corporate technology reimbursement, at its finest. But yeah, I mean, so you have those factors. Like you can't compete. Now there are the people out there who are, we'll say the artist, but they're gonna become the starving artist. They're the people who say, well, I want to make a good game, You know, I want to use the best technology. I want to make this immersive game. You know, and they do everything right, and their game's incredible. It doesn't sell. It doesn't have a player base. They don't make their money back, and they're gone. So like people know from their experience, and they don't want to be a starving artist. You know, there's the reason why that expression exists. The people following their passion usually don't get very far, so they got to find this middle ground. And you know, the middle ground right now is all these smaller titles. Like, you know, I worked for Green Sky Games. I was contracted with them for Swarm.
Yep,
And
great
Swarm
game,
is a
by the way.
great game. Yeah, it's a great game. Fantastic game. That's why I signed on. They sent me an early build and it sold me. But again, that's, you know, I don't want to call it shallow because it is complex in its mechanics. They did a great job with the animations, all the different weapons. It's an amazing title. But that's like, you know, I'm still looking for more depth than that. And VR is struggling to offer more depth because of,
Sorry, go ahead, man.
no, just because of hardware limitations and development time.
I'm gonna throw in the chat, guys. The game we're talking about. This is Swarm VR. Like we talked about, it's basic. What is it, man? Is it a shooter, like a roguelike shooter? No, it's not roguelike. What would you consider this? Bullet hell type game?
So you look at it, it looks like Bullet Hell, only just because there's so much stuff going on. When you play it, it doesn't really feel like Bullet Hell. It's a wave shooter with web swinging mechanics, like swinging mechanics, grappling mechanics.
Yeah,
It's a wave shooter, but it doesn't feel like a wave shooter. It looks like a Bullet Hell, doesn't really play like a Bullet Hell.
it plays well though. Like for we're
It's great.
it's basic, it's simple, and what it does well. The cell shaded type of graphics work very well with Quest. They're
Yep.
beautiful, they're seamless, really good frame rate. It's just overall, it's what it does. I don't know how much it costs. What is it, $19.99, I think, or something like that?
I think it was $20. Yeah.
$20, yeah. For $20, it is as solid as a $20 title on the Quest will be. So if that's what you're into, you know, web slinging, grappling hook, bullet hell type games, if you put it on hard difficulty, it's legit hard.
Oh my god.
Like I got to the second boss on the hard mode and I'm stuck there. Like that snake one, super difficult.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
it's a very difficult game. If you put it on hard mode, that's your mission to get good at this game. You'll get your money's worth. Like you'll get your money's worth, hands down. Hey Mateo, we're gonna move on to the next guy, but I'm glad.
All right, cool.
I'm glad
That's
I got
awesome
to speak
talk
with you
to you,
tonight.
Eric.
Again, this is Mateo. Check out his YouTube channel. You'll get down to earth, quick. Not maybe quick's the wrong word, but if you watch his videos, you're gonna get honest opinions in a quick, very time-worthy way. So I would definitely give him a subscribe and look if you haven't. Good to see you, man.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks.
Take it easy. Lee Ariel, you're next, man, and then we'll go to Victoria, and then after that, John Westra. I might need to move through these a little quicker so we get to everybody. Let's get you up here, man. While we're doing that, let's look at the chat. I saw one comment in the chat that I really wanted to talk about, but I lost it. Oh, man, where'd it go? What's up, Jose? It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. All right, man. Did I pronounce your name right? Is it Lee Ariel?
Yeah, anyway, it's fine actually. Yeah. My real name is Leonem, and people either call me Leo or Lirio. Yeah, I don't mind.
I was just thinking a Hunter. I don't know if you watch anime.
No, I know the Hunter, but I haven't watched it a single episode. I've always heard about it, but no.
So what's up, brother? How you doing, man? We talk a lot on Twitter and Discord and other things. And you were, by the way, everyone, I'm gonna let him pitch himself in a second, but he was part of the first VR debate between Ryan Angle and Six, an amazing sponsor who donated to charity for what we ended up raising for XRSI. I think on that one, like $2,500, which I estimated like we'd make $1,000 because I don't know how responsive people were going to be to a charity. So thank you for putting yourself out there and doing some amazing work for us, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's my pleasure, and I'm always trying to tell everybody I'm always down to help in any way I can, any shape or form, as long as it does some good for some group, especially if it's minority or accessibility or anything related to those big issues and topics. I'm always down to help if I can.
Yeah, tell people about what you're doing, because you've got one hell of a great platform that's doing a lot of good for high schools.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. I myself, I'm doing a bunch of other things as well, but as far as the high school platform, well, I'm the co-founder, and Justin, aka Cutie Pop, is the other co-founder. Great dude, my best friend. We're the co-founders of Outrun Digital. Outrun Digital is a powerhouse company for virtual reality esports. We are developing a lot of different solutions for various customers and clients, which are mostly in stealth. But what we have in public right now is the High School Heroes Esports League. It's a league. It's the first and only virtual reality sports league to receive the official STEM accreditation as an educational experience, which is a big accomplishment for us, and we're really proud of it. I myself received a STEM mentor certification, and I'm also a Microsoft Innovative Educator. And yeah, the league is a not-for-profit league. We don't take a single dime out of it. All the proceeds that come from it, whether it being a private school sign-up fee or the sponsorship packages that companies and individuals get to support the league, they're all converted into donating VR headsets to Title I schools, which in the US are the schools with over 40% of students from low-income families.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they have it's also common for them to have a high percentage of students from minority groups, such as like African American, Latinos, Asians, Pacific Islanders, and all of that, all those groups.
And I threw your link, by the way, in the chat. So anyone who wants to know more about this, please check out there. And then real quick, man, I don't mean to cut you off, but I will myself lose this in the chat. I wanted to answer one quick question. To WireWiz about the debates. We are working on the next debate. I absolutely want to raise more money for charity. One of the main issues with these debates is a lot of people, when they see a YouTube channel, they're coming on with an act, and that's not a bad thing. I understand why they're doing it. Everyone thinks when you want to come onto a YouTube channel that you need to put on kind of an act, the drive clicks, drive engagement. Finding the right people for a debate who can put that on the back burner, come in honestly, come in hot, come in passionate about a subject. It's harder than you think. A lot of people watch these and they're okay with it, but then you can tell they're putting on a little bit of an act. You can tell they're not fully bought into it, and they may just want exposure. So I'm working on it, but I will tell you that I'm not going to have another debate until I find two people who I fully believe in are ready to have the debate we need and raise money for charity the right way, or not the right way, raise money where we're going to raise good money and have an active audience. But that is an issue with finding people for these. You got to convince them, one, to put their neck out there. You got to convince them, two, to be themselves, and convince them, three, to not do it for a show. It's not a fucking show. It's a true debate. That's what I want. So neither here nor there. Sorry to cut you off on your train of thought there, man, but I will forget to go back to that.
You're good. Yeah, and the main mission of the league is to first educate the educators in the schools and all the different institutions into how to utilize virtual reality to offer more immersive experiences for their students and more immersive offer more immersive classrooms. And at the same time, we want to inspire some institutions to be fully remote, fully VR. We have one college in the United States, I don't recall the name right now, but they are doing all their classes in virtual reality utilizing Victory XR and Engage platforms. And that's on the side for the educators. We want to really add value to it and teach them and give them the digital literacy in virtual reality so they can be better prepared. God forbid we get another pandemic or another lockdown or something. The schools are ready to use VR for offering better remote learning experiences, and at the same time for the students, we really put a lot of effort into getting them connected with as many people in the industry as possible. They have the opportunity to get in touch with a bunch of different developers and different people in the industry through our communities and by ourselves. We have some volunteer programs, so we have a couple of kids who want to learn more about broadcasting and virtual reality esports, and we bring them in, we give them Skillshare accounts. We don't have any specific obligations. We don't force them to work specific hours or anything, but we give them a whole year of Skillshare account where they can learn anything they want. They can come to us if they want to learn anything specific from us, and we give them access to all our socials. If they want to go live right now playing Blaston or something else, they're more than allowed to.
Awesome.
At the same time, we give them the ability to live stream the first phases of each season.
Let me ask you this, man. because I want to make sure we get through as many people as we can. But I got a question for you that you're going to be uniquely able to probably answer. When it comes to these kids in high school, we'll use this as your sign off here. When it comes to these kids in high school who are now using VR, it may be for the first time. You have probably a little more experience than anyone to see how these people are reacting. What's making this so much fun to them? Like, what are you seeing on the ground here from these students using VR for the first time that encourages you so much, or that to keep going on and doing this, and makes you so hopeful for the future of VR? Because that's what I really want from this stream, is some positivity for a change. What are you seeing from these kids that is like so amazing to keep on doing this amazing project that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. The most amazing thing, the most amazing feedback that we get from the kids, from the parents, and from the teachers is how more engaged they get in school matters and subject and homework and stuff like that. We actually had in the last season, one of the moms joined our Discord just to thank us and say how helpful it has been. All the teachers are always emailing us, and some are DMing us in Discord, thanking us for getting them into the league, and how helpful it has been, how more engaged the students are at school, and especially one family, one team that has two kids in the autism spectrum. Their moms, we got into a Zoom call with them, and their mom was really thankful and appreciative of the VR League, and in general, it really develops that interest for STEM subjects on the students, and at the same time, they develop those 21st century skills like team leading and organizing and all of that kind of stuff. And they start tinkering with, as soon as they get the headsets, they find out about side quests. They go into YouTube, learn all the different things, and from all the different amazing content creators out there, and start digging and tinkering with the headset. And it's amazing. It's lovely to see them sharing all their learnings in Discord and collaborating with other students from everywhere.
I doubt I can find the picture. While you were speaking, I was trying to find the picture, but I can't. But regardless, man, what you're doing, thank you. The picture I was trying to find there was a picture saying, like, this is why VR esports are so amazing, and it was like a bunch of kids in a school, and one was jumping in the air, reaching up. I believe they were playing Echo VR. What you're doing is important. There's been numerous studies that show that people who use VR for education, the retention of learning is way higher. There was one experiment where people were experiencing. Excuse me, let me rephrase. There was an experience where Group A in a school learned about the Holocaust and Anne Frank through a textbook. The Group B walked through Anne Frank's house in VR. There's an Anne Frank experience that is out there right now. They were then both quizzed. They were both given enough information that they should have been able to answer the same questions. The group that just experienced it in VR had 40% higher retention rates of information. What you're doing is no small feat. I have a child. I'm insanely angry at the educational system in the U.S., especially the one I did. I don't think it really sets people up for success. So you bringing these to Title I schools is very important. It's going to be doing a lot more good than I think anyone realizes, because it might not be tangible. This is the brand. I know you're watching this. It may not be tangible what they're doing now, but it will be tangible down the line. So thank you, brother, for what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak here. And rest assured, we have much bigger plans to help the educational sector. We are partnering with the Global Esports Federation and United States Esports Association and other bigger groups to help expand this into other continents, and then later down the road, hopefully within 1 or 2 years, have a specific VR Olympics where all the continents and all the countries fight for the ultimate trophy and whatnot. But we have bigger plans, including scholarships for universities and whatnot. I'll keep you updated on stuff as it goes.
Please do, man. Reach out to me anytime. I know you and I have spoken enough, so please, if you got something big going on, shoot me a message, and we'll blast that out, because this is good stuff. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
Take it easy, brother. Victoria, I got you next, and then John. But real quick, just want to take a quick look through the chat. Okay, so gaming science teacher, you're familiar with the Anne Frank house? Yeah, I haven't done it. I don't particularly want to. I'm just gonna be honest. I think it'll hit me pretty hard, and just not what I want to do. Like I'd have to be in a certain mood to do that. But I've heard nothing but good stuff about it, especially being used in school. Excuse me. So Chris, wait, hold on. Oh, Anthony. He brought me on his podcast once. I love that dude. That was one of the better podcasts that I had ever been on. Only because him and, oh man, what group was it? Rendered reality. Yes, rendered reality, between realities, of course, but in the past year, rendered reality and Anthony 365, they brought me on, and they were one of the first people that articulated their thoughts extremely well. And the first thing they said to me was, "Let's not talk about gaming." Like, that was really, I really appreciated that. And they have a really good head on their shoulders of understanding where this is going and how it can be used. If you're looking for people who will give some negative opinions, but always spin it on where it's going, between realities, rendered reality, and Anthony 365, they got all day long. And I might have to reach out to Anthony right now to bring him on. Hi, Victoria. I miss talking to you. Let's bring you on. Since our little fireside chat got canceled, or got beat by Zuckerberg, losing your battery. What's up, Victoria?
Hey, how are ya?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just building an AR app right now.
Guys, Victoria, what link do you want me to shoot out in the chat here? Your YouTube channel?
Yeah, you could share my YouTube. I'm gonna start making videos soon. Do that, and my Twitter as well, because I post updates on all of my projects, VR, AR, and mixed reality bullshit. Like if you like random weird stuff, then feel free to follow me. Yeah.
I'll do this. I'm gonna send out your links page on the website. That way they get a little bit of everything. If anyone wants to know who we're speaking to, Victoria, I'm gonna send. There's literally no description I could give that would like summarize everything because she's into a little bit of everything. But the link that's in the chat now will get you to her link page, so it'll encompass everything.
Yeah, that's true. I have ADHD and I like to learn and I like to do, so I tend to learn and do all of the things. So I just have my hands in everything.
Oh, and real quick before you go, Victoria, Brand, the question about Dylan. He will most likely actually be joining us on this. He said around 7 he's free, so I'm hoping to bring him on here so we can talk a little bit about the headset he's working on. So yeah, he might be joining us. So that's good news. But go ahead, Victoria. What's going on with you?
Oh, not much. Just, building. And on that note, I did want to talk about the industry and the state of XR right now. We've said it ad nauseum, but we're still we just got into the early adopter stage. Up until like maybe last year, we were just straight up in the innovator stage of the technology curve, right? So most of the people in here are either the innovators themselves, or they are like the earliest of earliest adopters.
To a degree, they're all really innovators. I mean, if you are willing to drudge this space right now and deal with the constant change, the constant bullshit, and constant just change. I've said that once. Like, congrats, guys. You're part of the movement, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, you're literally a part of history.
Yes.
Seriously. Every single person right now in the chat, you're all living history right now. Like, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, damn, I was at the very start of the next computing platform. This is a huge deal. And that's why I'm so bullish on it, right? A little bit of background on myself. I taught myself how to code HTML in the mid-90s as a kid, right when the internet first became commercialized and available to the public. So I have seen this technology firsthand in similar waves where, in the early 90s, everything was practically the same, in the same way that, XR is right now. You have people that are trying to take the old paradigms, in this case, old, pancake games and stuff like that, trying to make that into an immersive experience, but still taking the lessons and the framework from those. And then you have the very few people who kind of broke away from that, made something new, and then everyone that's copying them. Like, perfect example is Beat Saber. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And a good reason that they're copying them. It worked.
Yeah. 100%. But we're still in the stage where we're still learning the actual the actual possibilities of this technology, because there's so much to it. It lends to a whole new different a lot of use cases, because up until now you could do so much on a 2D screen, but once you're opening it up to this entire environment that you could touch and in some cases trick yourself into feeling.
Yes.
You know, there's just so many unanswered questions, and there's a lot of us crazy people that are just trying to connect these dots, just trying to learn, trying to just immerse ourselves into this, trying to figure out the real power, because there's a lot of power that a lot of us have not even found or realized yet. And that's what I think is so exciting about this space, right?
Yes.
Because nothing is really written. Nothing is written. We have the ability to write the future. This is so rare,
Yes.
you know? So
Absolutely.
that's why I'm so stoked. And that's
for anyone
why I,
who's like of age where you remember dial-up, like
yeah,
logging in and hearing the alien noises, like picture what your mindset was when that happened. Most likely, well, I won't say most likely, but if you're of my age when that was happening, you were not understanding at all where the internet was going. It was fun. You were logging on, going to a site and AIM and all this stuff. It was fun, but the vision maybe wasn't there because no one knew what to expect. We didn't know what it was
Yep.
going to be. If you're in VR right now, that's exactly where you're at again. The reason I made like kind of a little insight to my channel, like one of the reasons why I made a VR channel at the time was like, I think in someone's life, in your lifespan from the time you're born to the time you die, there is probably only one or two opportunities that you will have as a human being to get into life-changing something. Doesn't need to be tech.
yeah,
Life-changing something once, because in that X amount of time you're alive, there's probably only going to be one or two changes when you're of age to get in on it early for something
Yep.
to change a paradigm shift. In my lifetime, I missed the internet. I did. I probably had the chance. I had the chance. I was 12, 13, but I had the chance, but I didn't have it at the time. I have the chance with VR, and that's why I got into it. I have the chance to be at the foothold of something huge. And when my kid's in 20 years from now, he might have an opportunity of something different. But right now, our opportunity, everyone in the chat, our opportunity, in my opinion, is virtual reality or augmented or XR, anything in that space. So realize that you're
yeah.
have the opportunity right now to get into something at the beginning, and you will only have in your life, depending on what you're looking at, 1, 2, maybe 3 opportunities for something like this. That's why it's so big, and that's why we need a positive stream like this, not a get out of VR like Ben says. That's not what you need to do.
Yep. Big fucking facts. See, this is why I love your channel, because you see things exactly the way I do, because I too was at the start of the internet, and I inadvertently got into being an internet builder. You know, I taught myself coding, and then when I ran away from an abusive home, I had a fucking skill. I knew how to code websites. That's crazy. Like, and now here I am having like almost 20 years of professional experience building for the internet. Here I am also building for XR, and I'm seeing this convergence of the immersive web happening. And I'm like, fuck, like I'm seeing it all repeat. But the difference now is, number one, I'm an adult. Number two, I have the experience of before, having seen it and having worked in it. Now I have a better understanding of where it's going to go, and I have the power, the knowledge, and the experience to be able to push that forward myself. There's a reason why I live in San Francisco, close to Silicon Valley. There's a reason why I'm living
Well, you're also
near...
kind of insane for doing that. Let's be honest. You're not in the right state
No,
of
I'm-
mind if you live in San Francisco.
Bruh, I'm literally here just to build the future. I am here for no other reason. That's literally the only reason why I have not left. Because this is the birthplace of personal computers. And personal computers have saved my life. And god damn it, I am going to make sure that the next stage of computers saves other people too. Because I know that this technology could be used for the betterment of people. You even said
Yes.
it before, where with eye tracking, yeah, there's all this awful things, but at the same time, you could pre-diagnose someone for something really, really bad.
Mhm.
And my family, like Alzheimer's runs in my family.
And
you know,
eye
like,
tracking could literally one of the things it can do is diagnose early onset dementia, Alzheimer's, bipolar disorder. Eye tracking can diag all that well before you know genetically you'd even have it.
Yep. And that's another reason why I'm so bullish on it. I'm super bullish on XR for health and XR for the general learning. like this technology is what I really do believe that this is the next stage of our evolution between XR and BCI, brain computer interfaces. This is our next stage. But we need to be so fucking careful about the steps that we're taking, because it's everything in the world right now, as you all know, is so everything is sitting on this fine line. We have all gone through so much, especially over the last year and a half. We have collective PTSD as a species. And when someone has, you know, these kinds of experiences, oftentimes, and I say this as someone with it myself, you don't pay attention to things because you're too caught up in the here and now, where other people above you could kind of take advantage of you not paying attention to certain things. And that's, again, why I'm so stoked that you did that fundraiser for XRSI. Shout out to Kavya.
Kavya's
She
the best.
is fucking queen.
She's so nice. She's so nice too. Like, she reaches out to me all the time, and she's got like an air of like she's kind of nervous all the times. Like, she's like, "Hey, I'm working on this. If you want, we can work together again." But she's so humble, so nice, and she's really trying. Just like, she's one of those voices, and similar to Brand, who I know is still in the chat, who these people who are dissenting from maybe the easy opinion. I'm not saying they're dissenting from they have a bad opinion. They're just dissenting from the easy opinion and going the route less traveled. It's why they're so important, and we need to back them up. It's why I chose XRSI for the first charity, is they're not going to get any love. Let's just be honest. If you say we're building a privacy framework, it is tech jargon that 99% of people are going to blow over and say this is a load of shit. But they are the people who have the dissenting opinion behind the scene, who may be loud enough and voice their opinion enough where you are not having problems down the road. Let's just be honest.
Big fucking facts. And that's one of the reasons why I've been talking to her a lot, because I want to build those frameworks into the things that I build myself. Because again, as someone who is very actively building the future of these technologies, I want to make sure that people are safe, and I want to make sure that people are protected. And I also want to make sure that they're being better people for it. I don't necessarily want people to just distract themselves from all of the awful shit, because I get that and I do that myself. But I've also taught myself through a lot of hard work to not just hide behind this technology, because I used to just sit and play video games all the time and not do fucking anything, to instead be like, I love this, so I'm going to use this as a tool and as motivation to become a better, stronger, smarter person.
Yes.
And this is where I think this technology needs to go, but we all need to be very cognizant of how we use it and the people that we support.
I agree. I'm going to get John up here, Victoria, next. So anything you want to sign off with? I know we've I feel like you just signed off, but I'm still going to give you the chance here.
Yeah, just, be careful out there, be excellent to each other, and see y'all in the metaverse.
I'm sure we'll talk soon, Victoria. I mean, I know we will, so hit me up, all right?
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. All right, real quick before I get you up here, John, let's check out the chat, because I don't want to neglect it too much, because you guys are talkative. Blockchain and VR will move us into the next phase by Fabster. Yeah, I'm really... I know you didn't say it, but I think it's kind of what you meant as well. Maybe I'll put words in your mouth, but I'm really excited about WebXR. I'd like to see more from WebXR. I know we always talk about it, but I think it is the holy grail of openness. I'd like to see more people work on OpenXR, but that's just my opinion. Daniel, nobody forced people to get on the net. It was availability that was the problem. Nobody was having to push and sell it. It did it for itself. It feels like VR is, yeah, okay. So what Daniel's saying is that the internet was available and people naturally used it, learned about it. It wasn't forced, where he's saying that VR is a little bit pushed on people. There's an air of truth. I mean, Daniel, I think there will be people push back on that thought, but I know where you're coming from. It's an unpopular opinion, but I think there's an air of truth to it. Why it's pushed on people, I think would be a better discussion. Why do we push VR and AR on people? My opinion is we push it so hard because many of the enthusiasts who are in this chat believe they know where things are going. I believe I know where things are going as well. And rather where the internet was slowly adopted, slowly used, where people see the power of where the internet went now, maybe people are just optimistic, cup half full, and want to push VR, AR, XR on people because they know where it's going. And rather than people find that out late, they'd like to give people the tools to know that now, to have them powered to use it before it gets big. That's my optimism. That's what I'd like to believe, that we push VR so hard, XR, AR, because we know where it's going, and we want people to be ready for it now rather than slowly adopting it, because information is power. Someone who I'm going to be bringing up next, and by the way, hold on, Dylan, what, do you have a link? Hold on a second, guys. Well, I'm going to get Dylan here after John. All right, John, let's get you in here, man. I'd like to talk to you, man. I've seen you for quite a while. I don't know exactly who you are, though. What's going on, John?
Hey, brother. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Everyone in the chat, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to let him tell us about himself. I don't know who John Wester is. I've seen him in not only my stream, but I've seen him kind of a little bit all over the place. And anytime I do see him, his comments are usually very targeted, a little bit more thought out, not reactionary. So I have no idea who you are, John, but I'll tell you, for someone who I don't know who you are, I have favorable opinions about you. So congrats. I don't know how that works. That's probably a damn good skill you got going on.
It's just that I've been around so long. It's all the wisdom of other people that I've accumulated over the years that occasionally I remember some of it and share it.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I appreciate what you're doing. You're obviously making an impact on me without even doing anything. And maybe it's the check mark that makes you stand out. I don't know, but it's working.
Whatever works, that's kind of what we've all been talking about. What works? What is it that makes spatial computing go? And I think I've heard some really smart people talking about the lull in VR, and there are all the idiots who have been saying repeatedly over the years that VR is dead, and yet, from my perspective, and I admit I am focused on the business, the commercial, more than the gaming side of the equation. I made bank with the PC revolution and have continued to invest in technology and see it evolve, and been on kind of the leading edge of that. And to that end, I'm posting a little tidbit actually from the folks over at Mordor Intelligence to kind of encourage people. We're looking at a market that's $17.25 billion in 2020.
If there's any link that you do want me to post, let me know. We can put that down in the chat as well.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just threw something out in chat. So we're at $17.25 billion in 2020, and we're expected to reach $184.66 billion by 2026. That's a huge number. And there is so much opportunity baked into that number. Anybody who wants to be on that leading edge of spatial computing and do cool shit, there are dollars there, there's opportunity there. Carpe diem.
And real quick, while I got you, John, two things unrelated to this, and I want to pick your brain a little bit. But one, sure. If you guys do want, I haven't said it in a while, so anyone who's new to the chat, if you do want to join the voice chat stream, right there, camera, Vanna Whiting it. Join the stream through Discord, send me a message, anything there. We're actually pretty caught up almost, so if you'd like to jump on, just shoot me a message. I definitely want to get you up here, hear your thoughts on VR. Second point, and this is a plug, I'm a terrible advertiser. I basically could be way better than I am, in my opinion, but I don't do it. If you guys care and like to hear better conversations, more intellectual debates, and just for people who are actually have like way more skin in the VR game and are really the ones, like not me, I'm just a loud voice, but the people who are actually doing really big things behind the scenes and who are looking out for your best interests, who are looking out for the future of VR, if you'd like to hear from these people but can't catch the streams, please, for the love of God, subscribe to the Clip channel. I'll put that in the chat, but that would mean a lot to me. This channel, that's right there, just posted it. I basically clip the best moments from a lot of the videos and talks we have. These talks have made me a better person. I feel like I'm more well-rounded in VR, where I'm less reactionary than I used to be, and understanding that this is not black and white, it's very gray. And there are people coming this week that if you say there's nothing to do in VR and you're bored, you're wrong. So pay attention to the clips coming. But John, what's for people in the chat right now, I know you come from the non-gaming side, which I would actually appreciate to hear more about, because I think that's really where the fun is right now. When people like Ben tweet to get out of VR, why would you push back?
Well, I'd absolutely say that, if you're a dev, and you're looking for opportunity, don't just look at the gaming sector, because, your prior guests have, been dead on when they've said, we've really got a lot of the same old stuff that we see, coming down the pipe in terms of gaming. There's a lot of Me Too. There's a lot of we've been there, done that. There are a lot of people trying to reinvent wheels that, in my opinion, now, in addition to being on the commercial side of things and really being business focused with VR, I'm an old school Second Life Avatar snob. I look at Roblox and some of this stuff, and I cringe.
Yep.
And go, we've got stuff that's here now that we had 15 years ago. Let's move farther and faster and do different stuff. And they're doing that in the commercial space.
Yeah.
The commercial space is really doing some super cool things. Let's talk more about it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the problem with not the problem, but one of the things with the commercial space is that there's a very big disconnect. Because unfortunately, what gets attention are the highlight reels of gaming, the highlight reels of the people that are most vocal, and honestly, what people can drive clicks with on social media. Because a lot of people, I'm not making any claims right now on content creators, but we only have so much free time in a day, guys. So when I say this, I mean this earnestly. There's only so much free time in a day. And the people who are making content, The Real Secret, BMF, Steve Knows, Mateo, all these people that I speak with regularly, they're using their free time to make content. So you're damn well, they're probably going to pick stuff that's marketable. And that's not a blame to them. They have to use their time wisely. Commercial products are not going to get picked up as much like that. But some people who've been in the chat tonight, Victoria, Liariel, Matt, these are people doing things that may not get as much attention, but these commercial stories that you do not hear about are shaping the way you use VR, XR, AR. You just don't know it yet. I don't think I'm far off that one, John.
No, I think you're dead on. And, it is. Let's face it, twerking gets a lot of attention on social media.
Deservingly
so. But, well, yeah, okay. But that is not moving us all as humankind forward. Really, the stuff that they're doing with education, the stuff that we're doing with, I'm a veteran, fourth generation now with my sons.
Thank you for your service.
My honor, that they're doing with, and that's how I got my start in VR, by the way. I was doing simulation in VR with the Air Force back in the day. So the stuff that they're doing for veterans with PTSD, some of those things, that's really what lights me up.
I would love to hear more about that if you have a few minutes. Because so my old boss, I say old because he's moved on to a different career path. He was in the Marines, and I've known him for quite a few years. He's the reason why I can enjoy quite a few luxuries in my life. I worked my ass off at a different job, and because of him, I have the career I have now. But every 4th of July, we would always send him messages of goodwill because the fireworks would trigger him quite a bit. And we always knew it was a tough time for him, and we would message him quite a bit. So my military members, I have quite a bit of love for. And hearing how, I know you're not the first to bring this up, but how VR helps with PTSD is a big thing. Can you explain to the chat a few things going on with that?
Well, virtual reality exposure therapy, VRAT, is what we're talking about. It's used to treat a lot of anxiety disorders, including PTSD. It's being used to expose those with PTSD to situations that they have experienced before that have brought on those PTSD symptoms, and helping them see and experience those things in a way where they are in control. Because one of the big things, if you've ever been under fire, a lot of veterans, what brings on that PTSD is that feeling with the sounds, with the, could be the muzzle fire, flash of light, those things are totally out of their control in that moment. And so when they hear those sounds, when they have those experiences in their memories, that complete lack of control comes flooding back as that wave of anxiety. So being able to experience some of those things and be in control of the situation, being able to step back and see it for what it is, which is not now, is therapeutic. So,
yeah, I'm with you, man. I think, there's a lot of people, and I speak with a lot of them, that just, there's a lot going on, and there's only so many ways that you can mitigate that with what you have available. And there's a lot of things coming down the pipeline that we don't even know are coming that I think will drastically help that. I've got someone from a fireside chat that I want to get on the stream, but John, I hope to see you one day. I want to bring you on. I know you DM me, but let's have you on for debate one day. I think you're going to be the right person.
I would totally love to do that. I will leave everybody with this thought. Explore the commercial side of things that are going on, whether it's, using it for VRET, whether it's, I'm going to give a shout out to the folks at History View VR,
Please do.
Who are literally cataloging, VR places and making them available to people to experience the educational stuff we see before. Take a look at commercial VR, look for opportunities, and see you in the metaverse.
I'll see you around, John. I appreciate it. All right, guys, I have a special guest coming up next. So there was a fireside chat that we tried to have. What is today? Today's Thursday. I believe this was last week on Thursday, maybe, that we tried having a fireside chat with someone working on making their own VR headset. But that chat had to be killed pretty quick due to some technical issues. So he is available right now, and I do want to bring him on so he can tell us a little bit about the headset he's doing. But I do want to harp, before I bring on him, the whole point of these debates, and if you guys like this format, please let me know in the chat, because sometimes I don't know what people actually want in VR. Because just like VR developers, where everyone makes critiques of what they're doing and what they're not doing, everyone has a critique of, why are you not using this locomotion? Why are you not doing X, Y, Z? Everyone's figuring the fuck out. No one knows what to do for VR. Nothing works perfectly. So we're all trying to figure it out. So the content is kind of the same way. A lot of VR content creators like Thrill, Mateo, Steve Knows, BMF, my boys, among with the many others, are just trying to figure shit out, just like everyone else. So if this is a format you guys like, let me know. I think we need more positivity in VR. I am too negative myself sometimes, but I am learning how to not be by talking to people much smarter than I, who are really broadening my mind. That's why I love these fireside chats and debates. So if you like to see any of those and you're missing them, again, you can check them anytime on the Clips channel. I'm going to keep harping on that until that channel starts getting some momentum. But I will try to post clips that I really feel passionate about, that they've taught me something. Those will go on the channel that I put in the description. But yes, Dylan, let's give him a call so he can tell us about the headset that he's working on, and we get a little more information about that. Dylan. Oh, there he is. Dylan, what's going on, my man?
I'm good.
Here, man, I'm going to do this so we can hear you better, because I feel like the connection's still a little weak. I'm going to pause the smooth jazz, and we're going to change the background to our fireside chat so we can feel a little more together here. Oh, fireside chat. All right, man, do I got you?
Yeah.
All right, man, let's talk through this since we couldn't talk before. So everyone who doesn't know, Dylan is creating a headset. And what I was most happy to talk to him about is why he was doing this, what the headset was, but he apparently has a couple things he was wanting to share. So, Dylan, I know you have an incredibly hard task of being given the floor right now with an incredibly complex and long story. but you have the floor, my man.
So I was actually going to show a demo. I don't have that. It's on my car right now. So,
Okay.
but so effectively, what that demo was though is it's basically a method of how you can get the games to play on. So with VR games, you have to have 90 plus FPS for them to be playable. And it was effectively an optimization that allows for 30, 20, even 10 FPS to still be moderately playable.
Okay. I'm with you right now.
So, and what that, so it's something that's been used in games for a while, which is parallax occlusion. It's basically just taking that same concept and applying it to your actual player camera. So what it will do is we'll offset all the pixels based upon the depth maps existing within the engine. It'll basically create what is effectively a 3D environment that off of a freeze frame. So every frame, it will create this somewhat of a 3D environment, and just like it will update your frames. So if you're playing at 20 FPS, it will add in those extra frames and offset based upon your movement in the game.
Okay. So I got two things. One's gonna be a question to you. One's a question to the chat. The question of the chat is actually not a question, but Koslav, if you'd like to come up on screen, I'd like to talk to you about a couple things because I really enjoy the stuff you put on Twitter. So shoot me a DM on Discord if you can. But my question to you, Dylan, is I know you're working a quick TLDR for everyone in the chat because we don't have a crap load of time. I know you're building a headset based off the Windows Mixed Reality platform. The biggest thing that I really wanted you to convey to the chat is I think what you're trying to do by building a headset is a massive endeavor. I think it should not be taken lightly. The fact that you're even willing to go that route should be commended and talked about. But what I really wanted you to talk to the chat, because obviously you're working on a prototype. We don't have a lot of concrete things to go over. Why is it important to you? That's what I really want to know, and why I want the chat to know. Why is it important to you to go this route less traveled, this really difficult route less traveled? Why is it important to you to work on building this headset? Because I think that's really the story here.
My biggest deal is basically it's Facebook dominated at this point.
Okay, I think you broke up there for a second, but we got you back.
My biggest deal is it's Facebook dominated at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have tons of issues with Facebook, and VR is really not one of those things I want to be. Really want any company dominating, much less Facebook. So it's kind of just a deal like, really, so it's like over time, I would say, so it does seem very outlandish, kind of a very outlandish path to do, but over time it has seemed to become seeming a lot more doable as time goes on.
Okay.
So initially when we started it, we were starting as a basically you turning a Raspberry Pi into an Oculus Rift. It's essentially the idea. And that was basically what the whole relativity deal was. It was they were taking a Raspberry Pi and effectively making an Oculus Rift out of it.
Okay, so what I understand, I'm not trying to cut you off, Dylan. I think we're having similar tech issues as last time, so I apologize. Where it's going out, but from what I'm getting, and I apologize, my audio is cutting out quite a bit. Is that you're making this headset mostly because you're not liking what you're seeing from Facebook, which I think is super commendable. And to what I know, everyone in the chat, by the way, I've spoken with Dylan a little bit. You have no background really in creating something like this. This is a passion project that you just know a little bit about, and you're working through it to make something happen because you're unhappy with something and you're taking the initiative to make something of it. Am I reading that wrong?
Right. Now, as far as so, in terms of background, it's kind of complicated. So, in terms of like a professional background, I have no real background in it. But in terms of, because I have always kind of built custom hardware and things of that sort. I mean, that's not something that I'm unfamiliar with, but I never done it in a professional light.
Okay. Dylan, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I got nothing but love for you. I love what you're doing, but I think our tech issues right here on communicating might be the death of us here. So we're going to find a way. Here's what we're going to do, chat. I'm going to find a way to speak with Dylan offline one day so we can summarize all this, and we're probably going to put together some type of video. Because Dylan, I do want your story to be told. I think it's important. I love what you're doing. But I think on the live streaming standpoint, we're not going to connect the way that I want to. So I appreciate connecting here, Dylan, but I think we're having enough audio problems where we may want to do this as like a standalone video, not a stream, if that makes sense.
I'm down with that.
But I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna end the call real quick, and we're gonna do this as a separate video one day, guys. But I do want to get Coleslab up here real quick. So let's try this a little different here. Yeah, Will, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Hello, guys. For Coleslab, I don't have any links to give, but I will say that there's a few people on Twitter. There's like a different Mount Rushmore on Twitter. There's the
Mount Rushmore of Twitter.
Yes, there's like a Mount Rushmore of like devs who are contrary to public view. That would be like Anti-Claire, Blair, Andre Elijah, Anton, and people like that. And then there's like a group of people on Twitter who are so forward thinking, more than any YouTube creator, who understand the ins and outs, like Coleslab, Joshua, Corvinus, people like that I put on a different one. And I don't have anything to bring up really, brother. Like I don't have a point, but something about everything you say, I just love your thought process. I wanted to hear what's going on in your head with VR right now.
In my head for VR, it's well, I mean, it's a lot of the sentiment that everyone else has really brought to the table, where it is the next computing platform, it is the next big thing. For me personally, I look at it as like the next big way for performance artists. And I know Brandon Latch brought this up a while back on Twitter as well, where, you know, right now it's just like, it's a cool video that you watch. It's a cool, you know, it's a whatever. Look at this funny TikTok. But he had made a point about how it's going to be the future of like stuntmen in VR. And I think a lot of what I really enjoy in VR right now is just that I can put myself in there, and I can be a part of it. And that's really what I've been enjoying about it, is being able to make myself a part of the experience, which, you know, not everyone can push themselves that far in the real world for various different reasons. Like, you know, medical insurance is kind of expensive. Not everyone could, you know, justify going out and doing these crazy things.
Especially depending on where you live. If you're American.
Yeah, depending on where you live, especially, you know, if I get a sore throat, and I'm not insured, that's a potential $2,000 cost that I'm just like, you know, so it's rough. And thinking about like breaking bones or just doing things that are, obviously I still do active things like dancing and whatnot. That's why I've been saving up for full body.
Can I extrapolate a little bit on what you said?
Yeah.
Might be wrong, so call me out if I'm not. But one thing I think that you appreciate when you say living in the now, and it's something why I hate anyone in the chat, if you're a teleport only fan, I'm not calling you out here, but there's a reason I really hate teleportation in VR. I think something greatly lacking in VR is people taking the time to watch where they're going. So for example, there are some VR chat worlds. I have gone down the rabbit hole recently, and from where VR chat was in 2016, 2017 when I started, well, I started before that, but when I started going to VR chat to where it is now, it's light years difference. And I make every concerted effort that every step I take virtually in VR to not teleport, to look at every step I take, because it's the fine details that you really take for granted in traditional gaming. In traditional gaming, like, I'm a big Gears of War fan. That's Xbox, that was Gears of War. But in Gears of War, I'm going from point A to point B. I'm going from battle to battle. Do I love the environments? Sure. Am I paying attention to the environments? Fuck no. I will not lie. I'm not giving a shit about the texture here and there. But what you should be doing in VR to make these gaming experiences much better, don't teleport. When you're going to point A to point B, take your time. So a good example is, if anyone has PCVR and is playing Half-Life Alyx, download the BioShock mod. There's 7 to 8 levels. I don't know. I glitched out on level 5, so I have to restart. But either way, maybe if I went to point A to point B from battle to battle, the entire experience would take me about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I have 8 hours in that on level 5 because I am specifically taking my time. When I clear an area, I'm looking at the artwork. I'm looking at the level design.
Yeah.
I'm looking specifically for what this developer put in, because every little detail counts. In a traditional game, it might not count. It might just be an asset that gets you to point A to point B. But in VR, they are specifically world building. They are not level building. They are world building, and every little detail adds to the experience. So yes, I am looking out the windows into the ocean to see what assets they put out there, because every asset matters. They're building the environment. And please, if you're in VR, take the time to go through that level.
Appreciate the artwork.
Yes, because they're not building you an experience to get to point A to point B. They're building you an experience to get through the entire thing. That is the world they're building, and I cannot stop harping on the fact that if you're playing VR games and you're beating games in record time, that's on you. That's on you. Take the time to slowly go through the level. For example, there was a VR chat world that I just recently went to. I think it's called Club Gumball or something. I don't know by heart. I only learned it because of Respite VR, and one of the people who worked on that game made that world. So I went to it, and it's a puzzle world, so you have to solve puzzles to get through it all. And I'm not even near getting through it all. But the first thing I did wasn't go, okay, what's the quickest route from point A to point B? I saw all these paths that I could take, and I walked through all the paths first to get a lay of the land, because that's what I'm doing. I'm understanding this world he built and getting the lay of the land, and that's important. And I feel like people are taking this fucking console gaming approach of saying, hey, I need to get to point A to point B. It's the wrong approach. Understand that you're embodying a person in that world, taking that world the best you can. I just cut you off a billion times, my man, so I'm sorry, but that's
no, it's okay. You just gave me a flashback to when Ben retweeted me looking at the sword in Hellsplit, because that, but that does matter. It does matter that the assets that are being put in, and the amount of work, especially it's not very frequent. Obviously, we don't have too many high-end PC VR titles yet. There's a lot of indie developers building things up as they go. I know I tweet a lot about Hard Bullet, but it's because they rebuilt their game from the ground up, and that to me was just insane. And it just furthers my faith. And shout out to all the indie developers who are, I think they're the ones pushing PC VR right now, is the indie developers, because the AAAs, no offense to Respawn, but Medal of Honor was a fumble. And I don't feel like they took enough time to realize what's important in VR. They were building it as you said, like a traditional game where it's here's the level, you go through here, you go through this hallway, you go up these stairs, and it really should have been about, this is the environment you're in. You can tackle this from so many different directions.
Mm-hmm. Think about the area that lost. So the first Medal of Honor game I ever played was the first one on the PlayStation 2. Anyone who's played that, the D-Day level was impactful. It was terrifying. You were on the boat. They gave you the quote at the beginning. I can't verbatim do it, but it was something like, hold on, I'm gonna try to quote this, because this is how memorable that game was. That, yes, I might butcher the phrasing, but the general sentiment I still will always remember. It was a poem for July 24th, 1945, I believe. It was something plus or minus a day or two or a year, 1944, 1945, and it was something on onto St. Pete. I'm gonna cancel out the first two lines, but the last two lines was onto St. Peter they will tell. You know what? Screw this. I'm not gonna butcher this. Let me pull it up. Medal of Honor.
Nothing wrong with Google.
PS2 D-Day quote. Because I'm gonna repeat this line. I if it was a different day, I'd remember this by heart, but it's not gonna be here. Here, go ahead. I'm gonna give you the floor while I try to find it.
I guess going back to that too is like one of my favorite games of all time is Fallout 3, and it's not because of the shooting. It's like it has terrible shooting. It's one of the worst shooters ever. When you zoom in, it's literally the gun just gets closer to your face, but you don't actually aim. But something I loved about that game, and something that I want to see more in VR, is finding these holologs, these holotapes, and finding these notes around the world, and just these sort of memories that are left behind from people that died in this great war. And I think VR has an opportunity to take things that flat screen games do well and do them even better.
Yep.
Because that sort of stuff is really memorable.
I got the quote already because I knew most of the words. So this was the first quote, and it's one of the first games that I ever played on the PS2. Was Medal of Honor. I think it was the first one. And the quote that comes up on the D-Day level that I will never forget. It says, "When I die and go to heaven, to St. Peter I will tell. One more soldier reporting, sir. I've served my time in hell." That quote has stuck with me forever. That one level in that game has stuck with me forever. And for Medal of Honor VR not to somehow hit that embodiment,
being in one of the most immersive mediums that we've ever had in human history so far,
it's a travesty, because I played that game on the PS2. I don't know how old I was. I lived in Massachusetts at the time. It was 12 years or younger, and somehow I remember that quote. That level has stuck with me. I remember playing that level over and over and over again. It wasn't because it was hard. It's because I felt sad. I felt sad every time that quote came up, and I realized that yes, I'm a character in the game. Yes, I'm jumping off this boat in a 2D space, but I don't feel good about it. Like, I know I should have died. I know that, I beat it because it's a game, but likelihood if this was real life, I'm dead. I'm dead 99 out of 100 times. I'm dead. This is sad. These were real human beings that sacrificed their life. 99 out of 100 were gonna die at that beach, and that game expressed it to me on a 2D screen. And the fact that Medal of Honor VR had the chance to do that to me tenfold, where I would have been tearful. I'm tearful almost right now thinking of that level, that so many people IRL died for an experience in a game like that I just dominated through because it's a game. How did it fail that hard when it had the most immersive medium? It's a travesty. It really is.
Definitely.
Sorry,
but,
man, that's a tangent there. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, and it's important to.
It's a failure.
To bring it's very important to bring this up with VR, that you're not just building a game. It's not about making a game, even if it is directed at gamers. It's about an experience. That's why I try not to call VR games games. I try to refer to them as experiences, because it's building something for the human to experience and connect with something that you're trying to get an emotional reaction. You're trying to get any reaction, and it's not just go here, shoot this.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
And I truly hope that, I don't know, and it's not every developer. I can't blanket statement this. This is not a blanket statement. But if you're going to come with a supposedly, would we say supposedly that Medal of Honor would be assumed to be a AAA title? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, Respawn Interactive, Titanfall 2, one of the greatest stories that they've ever made. So it was a surprise when they couldn't do the justice of real life stories, what they did for a fantastical story,
So I would say, if you're coming with a AAA quality game, AAA studio, please, for the love of God, understand that you're storytelling to the max here. This is it. You do not need the greatest gameplay in the world, because you're storytelling to the nth degree. And if you come with a platform like Medal of Honor, the story is pre-written for you. It is. World War II is pre-written. What happened. Now all you're doing is putting us in the emotionally charged situations and making us believe we're there. That's it. If you can't do that, and you're doing this for some other reason, I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but you failed.
And no, and I appreciate what Respawn did with all the videos and everything, and a lot of that stuff. But I feel like the game aspect of it felt more cash grabby than it felt passionate. Even though they did have a passionate aspect to the game, it was just not the main focus of it. And they should have combined that experience where you're telling these stories and switching back and forth and getting an in VR viewpoint of these veterans and what they went through and how they are today, rather than just here's this story we put together and then here's these videos in a basement that you can watch.
Yes. I'm gonna end it here because we got one more person before we end the stream, but I'm gonna say it one more time. I'm gonna say it one more time because I can't. Like, I'm a huge lover of American history, and not in the sense of hoorah America. I'm more in the sense of I like understanding where we came from. I like understanding real sacrifice, and I like understanding what I have now came from X. And that could be if I was any nationality. It's important to me to know what I have. I'm looking at a stupidly large monitor. I got a stupid computer here. This is all possible because of somebody else. It truly is. And I will never, ever in my life forget that game. And realizing that, I survived it 10 out of 10 times. But if it was real life, 99 out of 100, maybe even 100 out of 100 times, I'm dead.
Yeah.
If you can't bring that to VR, please just jump out of VR. I have no problem saying that. What a powerful moment we left on the table there. But thanks, brother, for coming up. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's bring up Shawnee Sean. I don't know who you are, man, so I'm excited to talk to you. I got no preference for you or what you're about to talk to, so let's bring you up. What's going on with the chat here? Marcellus Wilson. Your name sounds familiar, man. I think I know you. That's what I'm working on. I spent 2 years with my computer off learning how into writing my script. I've done it all. Storytelling was the hardest part. Please, if you're trying to tell a story, tell it, man. I think that's where you have it in VR. No one knows. You look at Denny, CEO of Cloudhead Games, Pistol Whip, The Gallery, Aperture Hand Labs. He says a lot of stuff all the time. He's still figuring it out. They don't know. There's no cookie cutter answer to what works for a game. So if you're focusing on the aspects of what works for a VR game, it's probably not where to start because no one knows what works. But a story is always solid. Why is Star Wars so popular still? Episode 4, 5, and 6 were solid. Let's be honest. 1, 2, and 3, 7, 8, 9, sometimes they're shit. But why do we still care? Why do people still line up at the door to watch Star Wars, even though maybe the original 3 have never been succeeded? It's because they built a narrative that people care about. The story mattered. That's what you need to do in a VR game, in my opinion, right now to win people over. Make people care about why they are embodying the person. The mechanics, figure it out. There's no cookie cutter response. But if you can nail a story, you can win people's hearts. Don't buy people's hearts with some crazy mechanic that you think is going to be revolutionary. Don't buy their hearts. Win their hearts. I don't think that's controversial. Shawnee Sean, what's going on, my man?
Hello. Hi, Eric. Firstly, I wanted to say I really like your Attack on Titan tattoo.
This is for my son Levi, guys.
That's great. Okay. This is controversial, but
Okay.
I think virtual reality is overrated.
Go on, man. The floor is yours. I'd like to hear it. I think this is important. Please listen to him, guys.
So when the Oculus Quest first came out, I bought it. It was very exciting for a few weeks, and then it just died. All the games are expensive. Honestly, not that amazing right now.
Can I ask you this question? So when you bought yours, what was the reason for buying it? Was it your own self-interest of being interested in it? And by the way, let me change this background. I'm kind of over the fireside chat. Let's go back to VR is dead.
Yeah.
Cardboard. What did you get into VR because you were intrinsically interested in it, or was it maybe the social media beating you down and you went for it? What was your reason of getting into it?
My friends were convincing me to get VR because they all had it, and honestly, I regret it a little. I haven't enjoyed it that much right now. But I feel like one day, like in the future, it's gonna get way better.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Now
yeah.
it's not really the time.
So I think that brings up, it was a while ago in this conversation, but I remember someone brought up about being sold on VR. That might be the wrong word, but there was definitely a conversation going on maybe about 30 minutes ago about overhyping, talking, and getting people bought into VR, pushing it on them compared to the internet where people naturally adopted it. And you might be a great example of when pushing it isn't the right way to go. Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
Well, how were you? Give us the story. Like, how were you sold on VR? Like, what were your friends saying? What were your thoughts before ever trying it compared to trying it? You know, give us the story
Yeah.
of someone, because I think this is super important to harp on, because if we're gonna sell VR, we can't just sell it, they buy it, and that's the end of the story. Your story is important of what happens when someone buys into the dream. What's the outcome? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So my friends like all got VR. They tried, like, I played on their headsets. They tried convincing me to get my own. I didn't really like it. Then I like went on the YouTube path and I started watching videos, and like you came up to you were one of the first people I watched about VR.
Thank you.
And then it like started convincing me. It looked fun. It looked interesting. So I got it, and like I was very disappointed.
In what way? Explain. I believe you. Like, I'm not this is not me asking you to defend your disappointment. But I like to quantify it. You know, what was the expectation versus reality? What specifically was the disappointment? Because I think that's important.
It might be just because I have the Oculus Quest. It's not like the best, most high-end like headset.
Mm-hmm.
And I was expecting like the highest end like headset. Like that's what my friends had. That's what I wanted, but I didn't get anything like that. And I think that ruined my perspective on VR.
What was the kind of first couple introductions to it? Like, what games?
Super Hot and Beat Saber were one of them. I played that a lot.
It
And then
seems- it seems to be the common thing among most people.
Yeah. And then I got the link cable, because I didn't have a PC when I first got the Quest, and then I built a PC and then I bought the link cable.
Mm-hmm.
And like it just didn't work. And it like I just wished I never bought the Oculus Quest and got like a headset meant for PC VR.
Yeah. You know, coming from my side here on this channel, like it's a tough subject to hit. It is. Because obviously I've built a platform, and many people in VR who are on YouTube have built a platform off harping on why VR is the future, right? So
Yeah.
it's a tough subject to hit. But I think this is like, I'm really glad you're here, because this is a perfect example of what someone brought earlier about the internet wasn't really pushed onto people hard. People just naturally adopted it, figured it out as it went. But VR really is, and I will agree with that person, VR's pushed rather than naturally adopted. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I do think the tech kind of needs to be pushed right now for adoption. But people like you are a clear representation of what can happen when expectations are pushed that are not possibly reality. So let's be a little proactive on this conversation. What do you need to see for this to meet your expectations?
I mean, the Oculus Quest 2 really like pushed on the adoption thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish I waited for VR until like the Quest 2 came out, or if I had a PC before, because I feel like that would have made it better for me.
I think that's fair.
And I'm not in the best financial situation to just run out and like buy another headset.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone would ever force it. Like, you need to be like, VR is not cheap, right?
Yeah.
It's super expensive, and some people will say, well, like, Quest is the same price as a PS5 or an Xbox, which I think they're a little more expensive, but what you're getting from those is different than what you're getting from VR.
Yeah, very.
You need to have a specific mindset when you get into VR. You need an early adopter mindset, let's be honest. But expecting people to have that mindset is a flawed premise. Just because someone is willing and able to have the mindset to be open to an early adopter mindset, that's not an expectation among everybody. And if you do expect that from everyone, I think you're in the wrong, personally. So what I would ask you to end this before I go on to the next person is hearing how call me out if I'm incorrect, but it sounds like you got into VR because you were interested, but also because you were introduced in social media by a lot of people to it. What would you tell people like myself, like other people who have been in here that are content creators? What do we need to talk about that would better set your expectations? Because that's important. What do people who are most vocal on social media right now about VR need to do better for people like yourself to not make them buy into something that they're not ready for?
I think people like that just set everyone's expectations way too high, like higher than it's supposed to be.
What specific? Is there any like specific thing that you don't have to call out a person? I'm not asking you. Don't call out anybody. But like, what's a specific comment or something that you hear on the regular that like set that expectation wrong? Because I really would like people to hear this. It's important.
I mean, my friends, they probably like did that on purpose so I could get VR so we could all like play together.
Sure.
But they always like showed me and told me like it's great, it's worth it, you won't regret it. Like showed me their games and like convinced me to get it. I honestly think it's just like the Quest 2 and everything. Like the Oculus Quest is good, but it's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. Sean, we got 2 more people before we end this, but I want to say this, guys, everyone in the chat, like, Sean's the first one to come up here and say, like, hey, my expectations were kind of wrong. I actually am super glad you came on, and if you actually read the chat, you're not alone. A lot of channels, a lot of VR content out there is going to negate you to the fringe, to the people that are wrong, to the people that just maybe weren't ready to get into it because they didn't know what to expect. But I would argue that a hype machine is real. And especially on social media, when you log on to Facebook or YouTube or something, I click on one wrong video, I'm going to get an echo chamber of support for that topic for the next 2 weeks if I don't be careful. And that's going to we can say we're the smartest people in the world. I only make decisions based on what I want. I only make decisions based on what I know. That's bullshit. We make decisions sometimes based on what we're pushed. We don't realize we're being sold to. And I think you're a great example of someone who might have been sold VR a little too hard. That does do a detriment to what we're trying to do here. What I'm going for here is like a big thank you, man, for actually sharing that opinion. You're the only one tonight who shared that. I know you're not alone, and I think it's big that it's a big comment that actually needs to be addressed. So thanks for doing that, man.
Yeah, no problem.
But
thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. We got 2 more people, guys, and then I'm gonna give you guys a little last roundup of something I've been thinking about. But we got someone. Let's get Star Wars fan up here. Speaking of Star Wars, as I just brought up that earlier, let's get him up here. What's going on in the chat real quick, though? Is there a way to use index controllers on the Quest? Not that I know of.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you were audible. How you doing, brother?
All right, hello. This is about wanting, about quitting VR. And I have to say, I agree with the last man. I agree with him and the expectations that VR was put by an enthusiast and by people who haven't even tried VR headsets. The amount of pressure that was put on them. Man, that's crazy. Anyway, sorry.
Let me ask this: Where did you get the pressure? Well, I don't know. Do you have VR? Let me ask you that first.
Yeah. I started VR back in 2017.
Where did you get the pressure? So similar to the last guy, Shawnee Sean, who spoke, who you agree with. Where was your pressure to get into this from?
Yeah. My pressure was from I had a friend, and the friend, I tried his HTC Vive, and he promised all these things that were going to come. And I have to admit, a lot of the stuff he showed has recently came out. It has to do with physics and hand physics. But back in the day on like Reddit and these forums and these early Discord servers, hand physics was being experimented with in 2017. And it looks like it's going to be a bright future. You know what I mean? And so I buy in, right? And then it's not until like 3 years later, right? Maybe 2 years, 2.5 years later, the hand physics actually is implemented in everyday games.
Yes.
And I have to say that I was patient. I took my time, but I think there's a resentment in me that was built up due to this.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm with you. I have no problem saying, I think when you see like if anyone's been following YouTube VR for a long time, pick your creator that you first known and watch him. Has he been more critical now compared to when he started? I think 99% yes. I can think of a few people who have never been critical, but for the most part, they're getting more critical. And that's because things have just changed. Once the Oculus Quest 2 came, it's reset everything. I've said it a couple times, and I think I'm going to call you Epic Star Wars Fan 73 because I don't know your name, but I would agree with you. What's your name so I can be a little more formal?
You can call me John.
John? Oh man, that doesn't get any more base. John Doe. I think a lot of us feel the same way you are because unfortunately, and I have been part of this problem. I'm trying to curb it a little bit better. And I say problem, it's not really a problem. We're all just excited. And the picture that's painted sometimes isn't reality. But I harp back. Here's my pushback on the thoughts of Shawnee Sean and John Doe here. Is that we are building penny stocks right now. It's the same thing Victoria brought in. I agree. I think where we expect to be right now is not where we are. And I've spoken with Daniel from VR Trend Magazine, Victoria from Extended Reality, all these people. I still think we're 10, 15 years out. I really do. Which for me personally sucks because I'll be older than I would like to be when that becomes mainstream. But I'm not really thinking about myself much anymore. I'm thinking more about...
Why is that? Why 10, 15 years out?
It's an opinion. I do not have any facts for it. I just think for what people realistically want, when you hear people say, I want AAA gaming, I want this, this, I don't think we're close to it. I just don't. I think a lot of people are still figuring out what works, what doesn't. I think developers are still figuring out how to be profitable. I think that's the biggest thing that's slowing this down is that there's only one way to be profitable right now, and that's on the Oculus Quest platform. And to be on that platform, you're not going to be bringing AAA gaming. You're just not. It's a mobile processor. It's a phone.
Disagree. I disagree.
Go ahead, man. No, I like this. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Mods are the future. When you look at most games that are popular right now, that are mostly played on PC, they originated from mods. What you have in the Oculus Quest, with them restricting what can be in their store, basically restricting freedom, right? You're not going to have lots of creative endeavors that are going to be done on the Quest because most of it is for monetary incentive. When you look at platforms like Roblox, when you look at things like Gmod, when you look at those, I guess, small kind of metaverses in a way, they're user generated from children who don't have a monetary incentive. When you're developing on PC, things like Sandbox, which is like a new Garry's mod, right? Source 2 will have VR support.
Call out Sadly It's Bradley. If you guys ever want to know more about that, please go to his channel. He actually made an entire video on it. So just give a little shout out there.
Oh, wow, I didn't watch that. That's cool.
Yeah, he
Okay.
made it. He
Uh,
learned. I think he was the first YouTube creator, and really the only that I've seen talk about that specific thing you just brought up, Sandbox. So, sadly, it's Bradley is his YouTube channel. He has a video about it. So yeah, I'd go check him out.
Yeah, when Source 2 released, when Half-Life Alyx released, they promised modding tools. I thought they were going to be more extensive. I didn't know it was going to be map making tools. I had an entire campaign planned out to create, along with our assets, for a Source 2 mod. Unfortunately, Half-Life Alyx came out with mediocre modding tools, and I was unable to make my campaign. Now, with Sandbox coming out, I think I will be able to make my campaign. And I want to make other VR games too. It's just that it won't look as good and it won't be as atmospheric with Unreal Engine and Unity. But again, things like Roblox has really good VR mods. There are many people making VR worlds and games inside of Roblox. Same thing for Sandbox. What's his name? Givaldo, I think his name is trying to make some experiences. He's waiting for VR to be implemented, and you'll be able to play with with computer players. So that's really important. Like Rec Room and VR Chat, you don't have to be on a computer. Sorry, you don't have to be in a VR headset to play. You can be on a computer, and that is what will keep these games alive, and is what will encourage more people to be in VR. As you can see, how many VR chat players who are on PC invest into VR because it makes them feel more immersed and it makes them closer to the people who they want to talk to. I think that what Facebook is doing is a money grab. I'm going to be completely honest, and it's great to develop inside of that kind of framework. It's also good for wireless VR. It's good to have a standalone processor, right, on a headset because it's just how do I say? It's good to share and be on the go with the VR. But at the end of the day, I don't think VR is something you really bring with you. I think it's something that will be more personalized, like a not like a phone, but like a computer. Yeah, I think augmented reality headsets are ones which you'll take with you and move around. I don't think it'll be VR.
Yeah, I mean, I think that brings up a lot of good points. Definitely something that I actually think might, next time we do one of these debates, I might bring up a point closer to that. I'd like to have you back up. I think, like, I don't know who it was, but I know Blair from was commenting on something where the whole reason for this, well, not the reason for this stream, but the clickbait thumbnail and clickbait title was from Ben Kuchera, and there was also someone called Crime on Twitter who chimed in, who was even speaking about how VR is he's confused on how it would ever get big because people literally his example, I'll read it word for word here. He says, I don't work on VR. I think it's a ridiculous idea. People don't want to wear a space helmet or even glasses if they can avoid it. People will literally burn their corneas with lasers in order to avoid glasses. Any product that requires a headset will never take off ever. And then I will circumvent that comment with, I believe, someone in the chat. And if I can't find it in 2 seconds, I'll just summarize it the best way I can. It was Koslav here. I always try to talk about the exciting things, but I also point out the flaws. VR is not perfect by any means. It's a long haul technology. There's the disconnect between, I think, you, Shawnee Sean, myself, Koslav. It's just that it is completely an imperfect technology that we're so far away from where it could be. And I constantly battle if these bulky headsets are ever going to take off until it becomes slimmer. But these are all like 30 million conversations that we do need to unfortunately move on from a little bit, especially being almost at the end of the stream. But do you want to sign off with anything, my man, John Doe?
Yeah, I agree with your frustration with Medal of Honor. I really do. Oh my God, it could have been better, but it isn't. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. I will get, I got to stop on that Medal of Honor stuff because I will endlessly talk about that. Guys, the point of today's stream, if you came here for kind of the funny clickbait title, it's not clickbait. Like it's funny, but it is kind of, I see like Azrael, I got clickbaited into quitting VR. I know. But the point is, is that I think Koslav said it kind of best. It's a frustrating technology that is very early. It's not perfect by any means. It's a long haul. That is the point of today's stream. The first point is getting a little bit of advertisement to the second channel. If you guys want content that's showing you the people who have contrary points of views, or maybe are VR zealots, the people who are really invested in this technology, please subscribe to the second channel. I'm going to be posting clips. If you can't meet the streams, I know they're not really good for time zones, but I would love you to see the clips. But the point of the stream is do not quit VR, in my opinion. If you aren't happy with VR, I think you're right. If you're happy with VR, I think you're right. There's no answers. But where negativity gets clicks, gets sells, it's where I get follows on Twitter. If I'm being a little more pessimistic than normal, that's usually where I get more follows. Unfortunately, we're just at a technology that we need to be a little more positive about sometimes. So I could go in circles, but that was the point of today's stream. I hope to do more community streams like this. If you guys actually enjoy this kind of process, let me know in the chat, because I would like to do these maybe every other week. I want to harp on these debates. I want to say this again, like I said earlier. These debates, the ones I had with Thrill and Blair, the one I had with Six and Ryan, I'm learning how to do them better, right? But the people who came on previously are learning just with me. I've gotten feedback, and the feedback that I kind of see and get is that people put on shows. I used to, and I still do. I'm putting on a show right now, right? We put on a show what is marketable. But what I really need, and I'm pitching this to you right now listening, if you know people like this, we need more VR debates. I want to do more. We've raised over $5,000 with just 2 of them. That's a shitload of money to me. I'm a nobody. And the fact that we can raise even $5,000, like the Peak of VR stream, holy shit. Like, I'm going to put this link, guys. If you haven't seen the outcome, I'm going to put this link to my Twitter right now. This is not a marketing video. This is not a pre-recorded video. This stream to this tweet is literally the results of the second debate. We raised over $2,500 that went directly to schools in Idaho, that went directly to schools in South Carolina. And these kids are using it. Is this mobile VR and some people shit on this type of VR? Absolutely. But listen to this video. These kids don't care. These kids, I'm watching it right now. These kids are genuinely excited and they're learning. They're getting better with literacy rates. Like this money went to schools with really shitty literacy rates, like really bad. Like this is important. And I want to do more streams. That money goes to people like Pika VR, to XRSI, and other funds that are doing really good work for VR. But it takes the right people for these debates. Six and Ryan were great. Blair and Thrill were great. But both didn't understand. All 4 don't fully understand what they were getting into, because even I didn't understand what we're putting on. I know what I wanted from it, but we're still learning. I need people who are ready to come on for a debate, that are not looking to put on a show, not ready to be someone they think that YouTube wants them to be, but are coming with a passion for a subject that are mutually agreeable upon both parties, that they're ready to be themselves, to be adamant, to be fierce, to be spicy, to be ready to debate. Because that's the content that I want from VR. I don't care if it's what's needed or not, it's what I want. And from that passion will come from people who buy into that and will donate to these good causes. And it's very hard. It's very hard to find these people. I know some people want more debates, but it's really, really hard to find people who are ready to do this, because unfortunately, what you think people want from YouTube is not always what is needed. And I don't care if you watch or not. I'll promote the fuck out of it. I will promote the hell out of it. My best ability. I'll pay money out of my own pocket to put Facebook ads, YouTube ads, whatever, to get people driving to it so we raise money. But if you know people who are ready, who are passionate about a VR subject, that will not come on putting on a show, will not put on coming with expectations that they need to say X, Y, Z, please let me know through DMs. Because I need another debate to happen. I need the right people on it. And I want to raise some good money for charities that matter, because that's the whole point of this. This channel is not really monetizable anymore. That's fine. I don't care. But these literally somehow a stream about VR porn got monetized where a stream about transhumanism, a stream about free speech in VR get demonetized. Like, that's not what this channel is about anymore. Go to the Clip channel. That's where we'll get some monetization to make this stuff possible, so I can pay for ads and stuff like that. But if you know people, that's really what I'm getting at, a circle. If you know people who are ready for a good debate, who will be part of it, please let me know. That's really what this is about. So let me know about that. Subscribe to the second channel. That matters a lot to me. That's where we'll monetize this so I can put some ads for the debates. But this has been fun. 2 out of 2 times. PKG, KRB Power. What's up, brother? 2 times we've done a stream like this. It seems to work out pretty well. I've reached out to MRTV. He seems like a good guy, but I don't know if he's right for these debates. We'll see. He wasn't super receptive to when I reached out, but I do like him. I do agree with you that he can put out some good opinions. That's about a 2-hour stream, guys. I think that's about it for today. But what I will say, my closing remarks. VR is early. You're buying into the penny stocks right now. If it's not what you want it to be, I think you're right. It's not. I'm not going to preach that VR is fucking immaculate right now. We're in a lull. We need some content for the mainstream. For the people who are willing to wait, go search out indie weird content. You'll find some really good stuff. Much love to you all. VR ain't dead. If I quit, I'll go to Pokemon card openings. But VR is the next computing platform. It's what I fully believe will be the future. It's what I fully believe I want to voice my opinion. So what it is for my kid is what I want it to be. But thank you for all who joined the stream tonight. There's a few people I'll be reaching out to for possible debates. And if you know anyone, reach out to me. Much love. And as always, we'll see you next time, Space Cowboys. Mwah.